What's going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball fan manga review, where today we're going to be reviewing the fan manga entitled Dragon Ball Legendary, which is supposed to be a sequel to Dragon Ball GT following the events of Omega Shenron, in which brings us on a brand new adventure within the Dragon Ball franchise. And for many years now, I've been reviewing and looking over fan-made Dragon Ball concepts and mangas, so today we'll be diving into a brand new chapter of this manga, where we start off with Dragon Ball Legendary Manga Chapter 1, with Goku having to defeat Omega Shenron via Spirit Bomb, and it says Goku eliminated the one-star dragon, then he disappeared and left me in shame again, which pretty much gives us the idea that this is Vegeta speaking, and in which Vegeta says, I'm sure wherever you are still training, but regardless, I am the Prince of all Saiyans, I can never accept that you are the strongest, I have to defeat you, Kakarot. And around this timeline, we enter the age of 889, where we have ourselves another Budokai tournament, and we see that Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku have taken center stage, and we see how Vegeta says, darn you clown, I hate you, as Vegeta begins to rush towards Goku, and we see how Goku says, come on Vegeta, I want you to show me your full power, and we see how Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku are colliding during this Budokai tournament, and we see how Vegeta manages to kick Goku on down to the ground, which I find to be very entertaining because we haven't gotten a battle between these two in quite some time in Dragon Ball Z ever since Majin Vegeta versus Super Saiyan 2 Goku, in which Vegeta says, now you're mine, and he begins to let off these shots down towards the ring, and we get to see over on the Kaioshin planet where we see the Supreme Kai and the Elder Kai alongside Kaio-sama observing things, and we see the Supreme Kai says, we are in luck, the barrier of the Grand God is still holding up, with the Grand Kai saying yes, and the Supreme Kai says, the palace of King Neptune cannot withstand this type of fight, thank the Grand God for letting us hold the tournament on our planet. So we understand that this Budokai tournament is being held on the Kaioshin planet, with the Elder Kai saying, I still don't understand what happened for Goku to return from his fusion with the dragon, with King Kai having to say, it wasn't easy, but Vegeta did it, and now Goku lives once again, having a recap where Vegeta actually managed to wish back Goku and saying, it cost me a lot to bring you back, at long last we can fight, and I will prove yet again that I am the strongest. And even the dead warriors such as Cell, Deborah, and Omega Shenron are there, and we see how Deborah says, it looks like Vegeta is much stronger now than we've ever fought with before, with Omega Shenron having to point out that Goku is letting Vegeta win, and we see how Krillin says Goku is not there, with Piccolo having to even look above, and we see how the referee says the great warrior Goku has disappeared, and Vegeta is wondering as to where Goku went, when in fact Goku has used his instantaneous movement or instant transmission in formulating his Kamehameha, in which Goku unleashes the Kamehameha, but then out of nowhere we see how Vegeta also knows the instant transmission, because just as Goku launches the Kamehameha, Vegeta moves out the way by using so, and we see how Gohan says instant and Goku says transmission, so Vegeta has finally learned that of instantaneous movement, in which now we have ourselves a very intriguing battle with Vegeta having to kick Goku in the stomach, pushing him off, and we see how Goku says, Vegeta, it's incredible that you yourself know how to use the instant transmission, have you trained hard for this day, right? And Vegeta having to say, it seems like you have not trained enough, Kakarot, with Goku having to say, I've trained every day, Vegeta, but the Kaios told me that while I'm fused with Shenron, my life force will diminish, and it is the price for resurrecting the evil dragons, and for you, Vegeta, you have learned so much in all this time, who showed you the instant transmission technique, with Vegeta having to say, diminished life force, you never take anything seriously. Well, I will tell you how I learned the technique, and I will finish our battle, in which case Vegeta begins to talk about how he said, after the battle with the evil dragons, I decided to leave Earth, and I wanted to surpass all my limits, and without you, I had to do it on my own, in which case he said, I visited many planets in search for a worthy opponent, but all of them were pathetic. One day, Kabito Kai told me of a warrior that was calling himself Goku and was terrorizing planets, and the last planet he visited was planet Yardrat, and I did not care about the people there, but I thought I would find someone interesting, and in which we see, the Yardrat people on planet Yardrat, and he says, there I found a guy that said that he was you, and he was stealing and terrorizing the inhabitants of the planet, and Vegeta says the body is Goku's, but his ki is not, and in which case we see little Goku there, even though it is the form of Goku, it's not actually Goku, and Goku having to say, what do you want, with Vegeta having to say, you insect, tell me how did you manage to get Kakarot's body, if not I will kill you, and we see how Vegeta says, but I ended up being an idiot with no power, what a disappointment, in which we see Vegeta punch Goku in the stomach, and Vegeta says, I am Super Saiyan Vegeta, who are you? And Goku having to say, but who are you? Okay, fine, I'll tell you who I am. And then finally we see how this person, you know, actually managed to show his true form, in which Vegeta says, so this is the true you. I don't want to ever see you again on this planet or any other, or I will blow you to pieces, with this person having to say, okay, but please don't kill me. And then he said, finally, the inhabitants of the planet decided to teach me of their secret techniques and appreciation that I showed, and I learned the transmission through that. And Vegeta says, enough talk, Kakarot, let's continue our match, or do you give up? And Goku having to say, well, it's been a while since I felt so excited about a fight, and I want you to show me all of your new techniques. Come on, Vegeta, attack me if you dare. And then finally Vegeta powers up, Goku powers up, and it looks like Goku charges towards Vegeta in this epic battle, in which Goku later on says, I can't win the battle in this form. If I want to beat him, I need to go beyond the limits that Shenron gave me. I think it's time to break my promise. I am sorry, Shenron. And we see how Goku powers up, and then he vanishes, and Piccolo having to say, what are those two doing? Are they going to really fight or what? With Piccon having to say, what's wrong, Piccolo? You can't wait to start our battle? In which Piccolo says, I'm not the same Piccolo from before, so you better be careful, Piccon. And we see how Goku touches down, and we see how Goku says, Vegeta, it's time to fight with my full power. It's time to separate from Shenron. Shenron, come forth. And then we see the end of the chapter, you know, with the Dragon Balls having to leave Goku's body, and Vegeta is left dumbfounded by this, because now Goku really needs to defeat Vegeta, and he's realized how strong Vegeta has gotten, but he also knows that in order to defeat Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, he needs to take it a step higher. So yeah, there were certain, you know, images and certain scenes that were shown here that directly came from the Dragon Ball GT, you know, anime, of course, and they just simply copied and pasted. However, the overall concept of Vegeta never letting this rivalry go makes sense, because he wants to ultimately surpass Goku, which brings us to Dragon Ball Legendary Manga chapter number 2, with everyone having to look up, and we see Shenron is there, in which Shenron says, tell me, Goku, why have you summoned me? And we see how Deborah and Cell and Omega and everyone's looking up in the sky, with Deborah saying, what the hell is this? And that's when Cell says the Dragon Balls, and we see how someone emerges behind Omega and saying, the Dragon Balls, you say? And everyone looks behind them, and they see Super Android 17 standing behind them, and Omega having to say, welcome, Super 17. And Cell is really angry. Cell says, I didn't know that Dr. Gero created another android. I wonder how powerful he is. I cannot tolerate him surpassing my power. And that's when Cell stops and says, Super 17, he says, but how is that possible? And 17 having to say, Cell, I have not forgotten the humiliation when you absorbed me. I plan on taking revenge on you, weakling. Tell me, what are those balls, or I will blast you back to hell. So Super 17, part of him remembers what Cell did, but he also asks about the Dragon Balls, and in which case we see Shenron ask, tell me, what do you want, Goku? And Goku having to say, Dragon, I have decided to separate our souls. I want to get all my power back. And in which Shenron says, you know the consequences of that, right? And Goku having to look down and see Baby, Kid Buu, Omega, and Goku having to say, I know my decision is selfish, but please, I ask of you, let me be myself again, with Shenron having to say very well, and Goku having to say thanks, Shenron, in which Shenron says, I will grant 2 wishes, but you are not allowed to ask for yours, in which he says it has to be wished by Kaioshin, in which Goku's like, what? A Kaioshin? But I only know Kibito Kai and the old Kai. I don't know if they will help me. And we see how Vegeta says, Kakarot, what are you doing? Stop this nonsense and fight. I won't wait another minute. And Goku having to say, fine, but sorry, Vegeta, I thought it would be quicker. I have to go. And Vegeta having to say, you idiot, with Goku having to come in front of the Supreme Kai and the Elder Kai and saying, hey, Goku, have you made your decision? And Goku having to say yes. And then out of nowhere, we see someone in the background down at the Budokai tournament, and someone says, I'm sure this is his weakness. I hope you aren't lying to me, Shenron. And then we see Bardock emerge from the shadows and saying, I wonder what you're planning, Super 17. Why do you want to know a Saiyan's weak point? So Bardock is looking down and he's trying to figure out what 17 is up to, with Cell having to ask 17, what are you going to do with the Dragon Balls? Are you planning on resurrecting yourself? With 17 having to say, don't be a fool, Cell. That I will get later. later with the tournament's reward, now I will kill those 2 Saiyans. They will never stand in my way again. And we pan back to Kibito Kai, and Kibito Kai says, Goku, I don't know what to do. I think it's not right. What you're asking for, that is, it's not good. And we see how Shenron says, are you going to ask for your wish or shall I leave? With Goku having to say, please Kibito, you got to help me. Time is running out. Ask Shenron to grant my wish. And we see how Kibito Kai says, fine, let's go ask for the wish. And Super 17 is saying the time has come. My revenge starts now, Goku. No other Saiyan monkey is going to humiliate me. And Vegeta's getting really ticked off. He's saying, Kakarot, watch out. And then out of nowhere, just as quick as he came, we see how Goku turns around and saying, what was that? And we see Super 17 punch Goku in the gut, and he's beginning to battle him. And right then and there, Vegeta realizes that, damn, this was a mistake. And he says, you stupid android, what do you think you're doing? And then Omega comes out of nowhere and he attacks Vegeta. So now it looks like the villains are attacking the heroes, and 17 having to say, now without Goku or Vegeta, I can ask for my wish. Ha! With that stupid dragon on my side, it's going to be much easier. So now we see that Super 17 has gained the ally of Omega in trying to, ask for a wish for by the hands of Shenron. And we see Kibito say, what are you two doing? You're going to go back to hell for not following the rules. And we see how 17 attacks the Supreme Kai. And then Piccolo says, damn android, what are you doing? And Gohan having to say, I'm not sure, but I think he wants Shenron. And we see how Super 17 says, I am the one that's going to ask for the wish, dragon. 1 insect less to eliminate, and now I'm going to ask for my wish. My first wish is to make the Saiyan's tail disappear forever. So that's one of Super 17's wishes, is for the tails to be gone. And in which case we see Goku talk to Vegeta and saying, Vegeta, we cannot allow the dragon to grant that wish. You know my power is Shenron's, so he can grant the wish easily. And Vegeta having to say, if we lose our tails, we will not only lose Super Saiyan 4, but for a certain time we're going to lose all of our potential. And in which Omega stands in both of their ways and saying, where do you two monkeys think you're going? You can't do anything to stop the wish. And in which case we see Gohan emerge out of nowhere and strike Omega Shenron, as everyone is dumbfounded by this, as Gohan says, stay on the sideline, this time I won't. And in which case we see Gohan confront Super 17 and saying, I won't let you get away with any of this. And Super 17 having to say, how could this be? He doesn't seem the same. And in which we see Gohan fight Super Android 17, hashtag make Gohan great again, and we see how Gohan is beating up Super Android 17, and it looks like Cell is saying, you're an idiot, only I can defeat those Saiyans, and the best part is that you're gonna help me. And we see how all the villains all of a sudden are beginning to turn on everyone and disobeying the rules, and Gohan having to say, Shenron, please listen to me. And then we see Cell pretty much wiggle his tail and saying, thanks to Gero, my body can be even more perfect. And in which we see Goku cry out for Gohan saying, Gohan, watch out. We see how Omega begins to spray Gohan with all of these blasts, and we see how Goku looks at Vegeta and says, Vegeta, we have to finish them off once and for all. Let's do the fusion and send these demons to hell. And we see Vegeta approach Goku and saying, I refuse to do the fusion again, Kakarot. And Goku having to say, but Vegeta, it's the only way. And we see how Omega says, stupid monkeys, don't think I'm gonna let you fuse again. And we see how Goku says, Vegeta, get out of there. So they're trying to undergo fusion, or at least, Goku's trying to persuade Vegeta in using fusion. And Shenron says, sorry for the delay, I had to summon a lot of energy for your wish to be granted. And we see how Gohan says, darn, it's too late. So the wish was made, the tails have been removed, and Goku and Vegeta have reverted back to their regular Super Saiyan forms. And we see how Omega says, why did you think we participated in this tournament to begin with? Goku, you did us a favor by summoning the dragon. And we see how Goku says, those damn monsters have left without our power, they took everything away, and I'm so weak that I can't even reach Super Saiyan 3. And in which Gohan steps in and saying, I have not stopped training to surpass my father, you don't stand a chance against me in confronting Omega. So Gohan has never stopped training to surpass his father, in which we see Gohan versus Omega, and formally so, this is Ultimate Gohan versus Omega Shenron. But then in the background we see how Cell opens up his tail and saying, okay Gohan, we will see if your powers can surpass mine, which closes off manga chapter number 2. So manga chapter number 2 pretty much gave us an idea that all the villains pretty much used Goku to go on ahead and have this fight. That way, if the opportunity presented itself, if the dragon was there, they were going to use that to make their wish to get rid of the Saiyans. So all of the villains pretty much had this all planned out from the get-go, and disobeying the rules and not following the orders, and in which they wanted everyone dead. But post your comments down below, guys, and your overall thoughts on this manga chapter. Did you guys enjoy it? Did you guys hate it? What were your favorite moments? And what are your overall thoughts on the villains having to rebel once more? Post your comments down below, guys. Thank you all for watching. If you guys are Dragon Ball fans, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That way you guys are always up to date with all that is in Dragon Ball news, information, and updates. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to go ahead and slap a like down below. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Take it easy, guys. Peace.